Good morning. Welcome to DHB, Devotion, Health, and Beauty Recovery Network, daily affirmations, reflections, devotions, and meditations, read by me, Day. I invite you to walk with me on the recovery journey of hope, renewal, resilience, and self reflection. And remember that you are not alone. Fair use, March 10th. Daily Reflections. This is a book of reflections by AA members for AA members. Today, it's my choice. We invariably find that at some time in the past, we have made decisions based on self, which later placed us in a position to be hurt. Alcoholics Anonymous, page 62. With the realization and acceptance that I had played a part in the way my life had turned out, came a dramatic change in my outlook. It was at this point that the AA program began to work for me. In the past, I had always blamed others, either God or other people, for my circumstances. I never felt that I had a choice in altering my life. My decisions had been based on fear, pride, or ego. As a result, those decisions led me down a path of self destruction. Today, I try to allow my God to guide me on the road to sanity. I am responsible for my action or inaction, whatever the consequences. Fair use. Courage to change. One day at a time in Al Anon, March 10th. Part of my recovery has involved reversing some old ways of thinking. It had been my habit to avoid painful feelings and situations, to play it safe and keep away from risk. But life involves one risk after another, and some pain is unavoidable. Al Anon helps me to accept what is. Instead of running away, I am learning to look at the source of my distress. As a result, I find that pain passes more quickly, and what I gain is freedom from fear. Al Anon gives me tools such as the fourth step inventory, with which I can take an honest look at myself and my situation. A supportive sponsor, my higher power, the serenity prayer, and many Al Anon meetings help me to find the courage to deal with fear, pain, and risk. When I was avoiding taking risks, fear was always with me, just over my shoulder. Now I go through it and come out the other side, often unscathed. I no longer have to keep a constant watch for potential dangers. Instead, I can occupy myself with living. Today's reminder: wonderful things can happen today because I welcome the thrill of participating in my own life. There is a quote, and it reads: avoiding danger is no safer in the long run than outright exposure. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing. Helen Keller. Fair use. Just for today, daily meditations for recovering addicts. March 10th. Our own recovery. The steps are our solution. They are our survival kit. They are our defense against addiction, a deadly disease. Our steps are the principles that make our recovery possible. Basic text, page 19. There's lots to like in Narcotics Anonymous. The meetings, for one, are great. We get to see our friends, hear some inspiring stories, share some practical experience, maybe even hook up with our sponsor. The campouts, the conventions, the dances are all wonderful. Clean fun in the company of other recovering addicts. But the heart of our recovery program is the 12 steps. In fact, they are the program. We've heard it said that we can't stay clean by osmosis. In other words, we can't just attend meetings no matter how many and expect to breathe recovery in through the pores of our skin. Recovery, as another saying goes, is an inside job, and the tools we use in working that inside job are the 12 steps. Hearing endlessly about acceptance is one thing. Working the first step for ourselves is something very different. Stories about making amends may be inspiring, yet nothing will give us the freedom from remorse that taking the ninth step ourselves will give. The same applies to all 12 steps. There's much to appreciate about NA, but to get the most from our recovery, we must work the 12 steps for ourselves. Just for today, I want everything my personal program has to offer. I will work the steps for myself. Fair use. Today, Emotions Anonymous, March 10. Reflection for today. I used to view success as outward achievements and material gains. Today, success looks much different. Real success is not external but internal. Each time I risk and challenge something, I learn more about myself, and I feel successful. By facing myself, I gain more and more understanding and acceptance of both my strengths and my weaknesses. This understanding creates compassion. To gain compassion for oneself is to achieve success. Only by being compassionate with ourselves will we keep the door open to continued growth. Meditation for today. Because I understand how imperative having compassion for myself is to my continued growth, I pray for the ability to talk kindly to myself instead of being self rejecting. Today I will remember, if we have not learned to live with ourselves, what benefit or achievements and material gains? Fair use. Strengthening my recovery, meditations for adult children of alcoholics, dysfunctional families. March 10. Personal power. We move out of the victim role and claim our personal power by taking this path. BRB, page 158. We let parasites into our lives, trusting those we shouldn't have. We ended up a victim over and over again. We were exhausted of our vital resources, financially and emotionally, and had no idea why. Spiritually, we were bankrupt. Our heads throbbed as we raged at those who couldn't hear us or who swore they wouldn't do it again. In ACA, we got off the treadmill. We hadn't noticed we were on. With the help of our sponsor, our fellow traveler, we did our fourth step and saw that our lives were insane, that we had swallowed poison and not known it. We now felt heard for the first time. We became ready to go to any lengths to protect and nurture our inner children. Leaving no stone unturned, we rooted out the problem. We couldn't remember all that happened to us because we had to forget so we could survive. But recovery becomes a safe place for the memories to begin resurfacing. We stop going to the inner drugstore for a dose of fear. We release the trauma in our bodies and walk away different people, confident and alive. The affirmation reads, on this day, I will choose to go the distance and deal in a healthy way with whatever comes up for me emotionally and physically. If I can't do this alone, I will get appropriate help. DHB Recovery Network, daily affirmations, reflections, meditations, and devotions. Please subscribe, like, absolutely share, even with those you think may not be in recovery, because everyone is in recovery from something. And most of all, be the you that you are created to be, one day at a time.